People of power, welcome to Mount Fitness MBS Ministry, where I am your host, Brother Minister Mongoose. And if you're tuning in for the first time, guys, this is a holistic mind, body, and spirit ministry. So right off the bat, that informs you that this is a different type of ministry, and I'm also a different type of minister. For more details about what I mean by those two things, please stay tuned to the end of the video. But for now, I'd like to again welcome you guys, let you guys know that I appreciate all of the love and support. To my long-term viewers, subscribers, and supporters, an additional special shout of love, thanks, appreciation, and all that good stuff goes out to you guys. But I value each and every single viewer, subscriber, and supporter. Now, having said that, guys, we're going to get off into today's topic where we're talking to the 144,000, and this is also applicable to the chosen ones. As you guys know, there is a distinct difference between the two, and I put an emphasis on the 144,000 just because we are the tip of the spear. And as in life with the real spear, if you were to throw a spear and try to penetrate a target, if the tip doesn't make it through, then that's the end of the story right there. The tip of the spear must penetrate. If not, then the staff, the remaining head of the spear, etc., it won't penetrate either. So I put an emphasis on 144,000 for that particular purpose, even though this message is also applicable to the chosen ones. Now, we're going to be talking about your need to identify your primary weapons. You have primary weapons, guys. All of us do. All of us that walk in the kingdom of light, we have primary weapons. You can liken this unto a situation, say, if we were talking about special ops or special forces, and that's what the 144,000 are when it comes to advancing the kingdom, and being spiritual warriors. We are the special ops. So the Green Berets, the Navy SEALs, the Frogmen, the Rangers, all of these different things. We're this small but potent group of special forces. And within that small yet potent group of special forces, again, if we were to go back to the military analogy, all of them have been trained to do all of the requirements and to be able to perform on the battlefield in all of the different aspects. So whether it's hand-to-hand combat, they all know how to do that. If it's M16, they all know how to do that. If it's explosive, it's just some of the swimming or the parachuting apparatuses. Being a sniper, they all have to pass and get a certain grade on all of those, in all of those different aspects, in order for them to be, to complete the course. And yet, they shine, if you will, in specific areas. So they may get an A in all the other areas, and they may get an A plus in one particular area. It may be a sniper, maybe a hand-to-hand combat guy, a navigator guy, a tech guy, etc., etc. So there's specific / primary weapons / primary assignments, tools, and obligations that they are responsible for when that unit unites and move together. So it's the same thing when it comes to this kingdom. We all have primary weapons, primary things that have been given us, primary things that we excel at, and we must be able to identify those things. Just like, again, on the combat field, if there's a guy that, if a sniper is needed, then that sniper specialist is going to be called to handle that. If there's some navigational issues, if it's explosives, if it's whatever, the guy that has that special assignment is going to be the guy that signs up for that. And you have to know what yours is, guys, whether it's your love, your gift of love. Again, remember, we all have these different gifts, but some specialize in others. It may be the gift of love, the gift of compassion, the gift of prayer. Some may be the gift of just that warrior mentality. Even though we're all warriors, at the risk of redundancy, we all have the capabilities to perform these different aspects of kingdom builders and to do so at an impeccable degree. And yet the fact remains. For some of you guys, it may be, laying hands on people and, calling in healing. Some it may be speaking in tongues. Some it may be the gift of prophecy. Whatever your specific gift is, and it could be something, something along those lines, or it could be something along the lines of just your overall perseverance, just your overall toughness, just your overall willingness to study longer, your overall willingness to be, compassionate, forgiving. You have to be able to identify what your specific weaponry is, because when we go out to battle, and that's what we're doing every day, we're battling. We're the special ops, and this is whether we are united on the battlefield, which we know at this particular time, we're all sprinkled out, scattered throughout the earth. We've been assigned different regions. And yet, even though we're assigned different regions or different parts of the planet, it's all working together for the advancement of his kingdom. And so you guys that, know in your heart of heart, you got this combat spirit. Some of you guys, have a more compassionate spirit. Some guys may be teachers. Some guys may be, enforcers. Some guys may be, just more loving, more compassionate, more caring, the gift of generosity, whatever the case may be. But you have to find out what it is, because when you find out what it is, well, first of all, if you don't, then you can see how that negatively impacts the unit as a whole. But when you do realize exactly what it is that your specific weaponry is, even though, again, you're operating in all of these different realms, all of these different spheres, all of these different aspects of the kingdom, when you find out what that is, then you're able to contribute more. You're not just willy-nilly style. Well, you can be courageous, you can be humble, you can be tolerant, you can be assertive, you can be all these different things. When you know exactly what it is, even though you're still operating in all those different gifts, you can zero in on your specific gifts, which allows you to advance the kingdom that much more further. You've been given, we've all been given this battle armor, and we've all been given the mastery of specific primary weapons that we are to use, that it's our divine responsibility to use, to implement and to apply. And to apply. So what is your specific gift? When's the last time you even sat down and thought about it? And another kind of third aspect of what your specific gift is, it may be mentally, it may be emotionally, psychologically, socially, spiritually, and it may be more of a physical thing when it comes to, hey, you have the gift of planning. You have the gift of reconnaissance. You have the gift of being a financier. You have the gift of, bringing and spreading unity in the community. All these different things, if your heart is in the right place, that there's more to you than just, having this armor. That to take that to a greater level, you need to zero in on what your specific talent, what is your primary weapon. You wasn't given this battle armor, and you wasn't given these specific, weaponry that you are to find out what they are and to master and then wield them. You wasn't given all these things for you to run away from the battle, for you to be in denial that a battle exists, for you to not hit the battlefield. He gave you these things not so you can run from the battle, but so that you can confront and win the battle. And fighting in your own niche, that he has carved out for you. You know that you're doing your job and you're counting on your fellow members of 144,000, if you so happen to be one watching this, or your fellow chosen ones. You're counting on them to do their job. If you're the guy with the scope and you're the sniper, then you're counting on the guy whose specialty is reconnaissance. So he told you, where you need to be positioned, where the enemy's going to be positioned, the wind degrees, so you need to face this way in order to hit the target. That guy's counting on the guy, who went in and did the reconnaissance on the location, who was counting on the people who went in with the brute force, cavalry, if you will. But we just got to know these things, guys. And again, each person fulfilling their part is what makes the unit perform that much more efficiently and effectively, or it holds the unit back. If you like some specific information about how to identify what your specific weaponry is, what your primary weapon is, then reach out to this ministry. I'd love the opportunity to speak with you. But again, when you find out what your specific weaponry is, it allows you to do something that we all need to do as believers, and that is to keep our energies high. When you're able to keep your energy high, again, which is born out of the fact that you having a clear understanding about who you are, your assignment in the kingdom, and your specific duties and requirements within the kingdom. This allows you to keep your energy so high to the point to where the enemy can't reach you. And so you transcend kind of being down in the mud with the enemy and, having to slip their shots and, catch and shoot, or weave and bob, or, have a knuckle down brawl, all out broil in the spirit realm. You can avoid all of that oftentimes by simply soaring to a height, keeping your energy so high that the enemy just can't reach it. They just simply can't reach it. It's like a chicken trying to have a fight, with an eagle. Yeah, the eagle's going to win. The eagle can dominate. It's going to dominate, but the eagle can also say, "I don't have time for this," and just soar off to heights that the chicken just can't reach. Period. So when you identify exactly what your specific weaponry is, your primary weapon, and you're walking in that, you're able to soar to realms where the enemy is trying to bring you down with, condescending statement, little digs, trying to walk by close to try to, infect your physical energy. They engage in this raid baiting, trying to push your button to get that rage out of you. You can just soar off to a whole new different level. And the enemy just can't get there. This is done when you completely zero in on your primary weapon and you're walking in that. Again, whatever it is: love, kindness, compassion, courage, humbleness, tolerance, boldness, forgiveness, righteous indignation, whatever your specific primary weapon is given you by him, and you're walking in that unapologetically, then you take off, you soar, and get to a place where the enemy just can't reach you. And you're not spending all this back and forth time. Let me rise above that. Let me ignore this, and let me slip this shot, or whatever it is. You're just soaring at a height that the enemy simply can't reach. This also, again, knowing your specific weaponry, your primary weaponry, this is also leading to you having a better, more clearer understanding about your overall value in the kingdom. So, you don't have to try to fit into what the church or the mosque, or what your friends, what your pastor, you don't need to try to fit into what they tell you. And I'm not saying be disrespectful or to lack consideration about what they're telling you, But you realize that you don't have to do that, because he has downloaded to you exactly what your primary weaponry is. And when you're doing that, you're also simultaneously realizing your own specific value in the kingdom. So it's like, again, having one of these, supersized, Army or Navy, aircraft vessels, or, aircraft carriers. And it's got all these, 200-300 planes on it. It's got like 5,000 men on it, 3,000 men on it, city-sized aircraft carrier. And if someone doesn't really know their position, they don't know that, then they're going to bring down that whole unit. But if they know that, they're going to realize, hey, I have clarity of how important my assignment, my duty is. Because if it's something that, they talk about on the news, when they talk about this carrier, they'll talk about the navigation, they'll talk about, the fighters, aircraft fighters, they'll talk about the radar specialists. But they don't talk about these little other positions that are just as important. Because if every single I isn't dotted, if every single T isn't crossed, then it subtracts from the entirety of the unit. And so when you zero in on your primary weapon, you also simultaneously zero in on, hey, this is important. I got to be able to do this. Whether it's been a financier, whether it's being someone who lays hands on people, speaking in tongues, a prophet, whether it's the gift of joy, letting this joy reign supreme, whether it's this warrior mentality or warrior spirit, whatever it is, this is important. And I need to dot my I's and cross my T's, because the whole unit is depending on me, just as I am depending on the whole unit. So that's another reason why we need to identify our specific weaponry. Once you identify it too, then you can learn to master it. This is what happens when those Army Rangers and Navy SEALs, and they go to these boot camps, if you will, to try out to become a Navy SEALs. They automatically say, well, this guy is, got more natural talent in this field. This guy's got more natural talent in that field. And even though they're learning all of these other requirements, they are zeroing in on that one particular area, or maybe those couple different areas where they have a natural inclination or a natural gravitation to be great at. So, and this is how they end up being that sniper, that mechanical specialist, that engineer, the navigational officer, et cetera, et cetera. And again, as I mentioned, that you begin to master that. You begin to zero in on that. And everybody on the team can do that to an A grade status, but you can do it on a triple A grade status. So keep that in mind as well, guys. And when you do these things, last but not least, guys, when you get this clarity about what your primary weapons are, I'm using the word weapons, but that could also be interchanged with the word gifts, spiritual talents, etc. When you're walking in these things, and you know exactly, you know who you are, then you're walking in these things boldly, humbly, lovingly, courageously, unapologetically, tolerantly. You're walking in all of these things, and you're controlling your inner world by this knowledge, by this information, by this decoding and this embracement of, hey, this is my specific gift in the kingdom. And when you're walking in that, you're controlling that inner man, that inner woman, that spirit man. And when you control that inner man, that inner woman, when you control your spirit woman, your spirit man, that person that lives inside of you / that spirit that lives inside of you, this is how you control the external environment. This is how you walk in there and shift the atmosphere to an even greater degree. This is how you come around without even trying. You just irritate, agitate, and trigger, the demons that other people have in them. But this is what you're here to do. Pardon me. You're not setting out to be mean or setting out to be arrogant or disparaging, but this is just what you do. Remember how the enemies, how those evil spirits cried out when they saw Jesus. They said, "Man, Jesus of Nazareth, what have you done? You've come to torture us, to convict and sentence us before our time." Because they can't deny that presence that's within you. But if you're unsure of what your primary weapons are, then you kind of aren't operating at the highest degree of perfection and purity as it relates to your assignment. But just keep pushing forward. You will get there. You will get there. But this is a clean-hearted challenge to you guys to sit down with yourself, analyze yourself, analyze what makes you feel good, because your heart, your energy, the spirit that's in you is not going to lie to you. For some of you guys, what makes you feel good as a as a warrior of the light? Is it when you're more compassionate? Is it when you're more humble? Is it when you're more courageous? Is it when you're more bold? Is it when you're more forgiving? Is it when you're more geared towards holding people accountable? All of these things are a part of all of the assignments that we have. All of them. We're not here to turn a blind eye on the need to be courageous. We're not here to turn a blind eye on the need to be confident. We're not here to turn a blind eye on the need to be bold. No more than we're here to turn a blind eye on the need to be humble, to be tolerant, to be forgiving, to be compassionate, etc., etc. But when you know then you control that inner environment and you fulfill your God-given purpose, which is to just carry this light and let the light do what it does. Your mind is on a vacation, the extra hours you got to work this week, whatever. But that information that you have on the inside is holding all of the people that operate in darkness, is holding them accountable. And all you did was show up. So keep that in mind. All these things are strengthened when you know exactly what your primary weapon is. So no more turning down, no more walking in fear, confusion, or doubt. No more, being intimidated, by the size of the enemy's army. No more being, confused by all the lies, the betrayals, the cross-outs. No more any of that. Go within and know that he has a specific duty, assignment, and weaponry that you must learn what it is, learn to master it, and learn how to wield it. Now, if there's anything that this ministry can do to help you do that, then reach out to this ministry. But I encourage you guys to keep on walking, in the calm in the storm, the knowledge in the storm, and of course, you're doing so by walking in your primary weapon. This is what I got for you guys. Let me close real quick. Again, this is a holistic mind, body, and spirit ministry. If you'd like some services that are designed to help nourish the mental you, the physical you, and the spiritual you, to make sure that this holistic health and wellness is achieved in your life, then I invite you to watch a video that's titled MBS Service Tutorial. Please also visit the physical fitness branch of the ministry located at mountfitnessmbs.com. If you have any questions, if you're interested in services, be sure to hit the email link down in the description box. Send me an email. I'd love the opportunity to follow back up with you in this regards. Now, please do me a personal favor. Allow me the opportunity to express my love, my thanks, by way of glorifying this thing that we call God. You can do this personal courtesy to me and help me achieve these things by watching a video that's titled My Testimony and Disclosure. That's going to Obviously, it's going to give you my testimony, but it's also going to give you some information about the roots and the origins of the ministry itself. If you got value out of today's message, guys, please give back to the ministry. Reach over there, take that split second that it takes to hit the share button. That is by far the most important button to this ministry. Share the message. Someone may need to hear this right at the moment that you share it. So please hit the share button, hit the bell icon for notifications, hit the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm, and definitely subscribe to the channel if you aren't already subscribed. Last but certainly not least, guys, you can make a monetary donation to show your thanks, your support, your generosity towards this ministry. You could send $1, I think they call it, send me or buy me a cup of coffee. You can send $100, whatever your heart, whatever your wallet, and whatever he instructs you to give. I release to you an abundant harvest in terms of your return for any clean seeds that you put back into this ministry. And remember, guys, this is a holistic mind, body, and spirit ministry. You have been anointed to make sure that regardless of what's taking place in your life, regardless of what's taking place on the planet, your mind, your body, and your spirit remains as healthy, as radiant, and as beautiful as possible. Reach out to this ministry. This ministry has been anointed to help you in achieving such a cause. Again, I'll leave a Cash App link if you'd like to make a monetary donation. I'll leave an email link if you have follow-up questions, if you like prayer, if you're interested in any of the services, etc., etc. But for now, I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. I love all of you guys whose hearts are in the right place. Again, thanks for the support. I'll see you guys in the next one. I am Brother Minister Mongoose, and I will holler back. Peace.